Here now to talk about tomorrow's showdown in Lansing, Reverend Charles Williams II, the president of the National Action Network, Michigan chapter, and Tim Boss, the co-founder of the Michigan Freedom to Work Coalition. Thank you so much for joining us both tonight.
Thanks for having us.
I'm going to start with you right here because there are very, very few people who believe this thing is not going to not pass.
You know, I think it's not necessarily that we believe that it's not going to pass. It's just we want to make sure that we send a message across the state of Michigan to those state representatives, state senators, and also Governor Snyder, that we're not going to let this go down without a fight. Understand this. Tomorrow is really just the beginning of a flurry of actions, just like the ones that we see now, all the way up until Governor Snyder and the State House and the State Senate make a new decision around this type of legislation.
Now, Tim, again, assuming it is going to pass tomorrow, which again most people believe it is going to, and the governor said he's going to sign it, what's going to change? What are we going to see happen in the state of Michigan?
You'll see a lot of companies that aren't afraid of coming to Michigan anymore. The unions have been very effective at scaring companies and putting the fear of God in them, so to speak. You'll see more unions come to Michigan because they'll start competing for membership in the shops, things of that nature. I have a friend that worked in Kansas for General Motors, and in addition to the UAW, he had 4 other unions that he could choose from.
So you're predicting the growth of both employment and unions in Michigan because
exactly.
Of this. Reverend?
Odd, because you know, statistics don't show anything close to growth when it comes to states that are right-to-work states. I mean, you're talking about where workers make less than $7,000 less than the average worker that works now. You're talking about a market that in certain places across the country, in the South specifically, that isn't growing the way it is in the Midwest, Illinois, and other states. Look, the right to work is the right to not have rights at work, and we're not going to stand for it. We're going to stand against it. We're going to fight against it. We're organizing communities, churches, and activists across the state to say, look, we want to keep our rights at work. We want freedom in our workplace.
Now, the studies I say show that wages do indeed drop in the states that have this, but also that generally jobs increase. There are more lower-paying jobs. More people are working, though.
Well, let me say this. Do you want a McDonald's job, or do you want the jobs that we have today?
It doesn't pass the smell test. Basic logic says this is absurd.
Well, we're not talking basic logic. We're talking about what the numbers are.
A whole right-to-work state. You're saying that state is filled with disadvantaged workers. If I'm a union, I'm going, yes, there's a golden opportunity, and you would see a feeding frenzy of unions in this, you know, mythical place. And very soon, then you will now have these increased benefits, increased wages, and there's no longer a disparity. The reason that the wages are lower is because the cost of living is lower. You will make, doing your exact same job, you will make a lot more in New York City because the cost of living is higher. The same thing here.
Okay. Tim, thank you. Unfortunately, I gave you the first word. I'll give you the last word on this one. I do apologize. We're out of time, but we would like to talk to you again after this all goes into effect, because we are going to see the proof is in the pudding at that point, what's really happening in the state of Michigan.
All right.
All right, thank you both. All right, Chris?